You are not broke because of the economy. You are not broke because of your job, your education, or your bad luck. You are broke because there is a program running inside your mind right now, a program you never installed, a program you cannot see, and it is destroying your financial life every single day. Your poverty is not a circumstance, it is a subconscious pattern. And here is the terrifying part. You did not choose it. It was installed in you before you could even tie your shoes. Tonight, we are going to expose the invisible chains that keep millions of people trapped in a cycle of financial struggle. Invisible chains exposed. We are going to pull back the curtain on the subconscious patterns that regenerate poverty, the mental loops that make you sabotage every opportunity, and the psychological traps that keep you comfortable being broke. By the end of this video, you will never look at money the same way again. And more importantly, you will finally understand why you have been stuck and exactly how to break free. But first, let me show you the pattern that started it all. Before you were 7 years old, your brain absorbed everything around you like a sponge. Every conversation your parents had about money, every fight about bills, every whispered worry at the kitchen table, it all went straight into your subconscious mind. And it formed what psychologists call your money blueprint. Give me a child until he is 7, and I will show you the man. This is not philosophy. This is neuroscience. Dr. Bruce Lipton's research at Stanford showed that between birth and age 7, your brain operates primarily in theta wave states, the same state used in hypnosis. You were literally hypnotized into your beliefs about money. If your parents said things like money does not grow on trees, or rich people are greedy, or we cannot afford that, those phrases became commands written directly into your operating system. Your first money beliefs were installed before you could question them. And here is what makes this so dangerous. You do not experience these as beliefs. You experience them as reality. You think you are making rational financial decisions, but you are actually running a program that was coded by people who were themselves financially struggling. Coded for poverty, but the programming goes even deeper than childhood. What I am about to show you next is the mechanism that keeps this code running on repeat. In 1967, psychologist Martin Seligman conducted an experiment that would change our understanding of poverty forever. He placed dogs in a situation where they received mild shocks they could not escape. After enough repetition, something horrifying happened. When he finally gave them an easy way out, they did not take it. They just lay down and accepted the pain. Helpless. Seligman called it learned helplessness. And it is the exact same pattern operating in your financial life right now. Every time you applied for a job and got rejected, every time you tried to save and an emergency wiped it out, every time you worked hard and still fell behind, your brain was learning something devastating. It was learning that your efforts do not matter, that no matter what you do, you will always end up broke. So your subconscious made a decision for you. It decided to stop trying. Not consciously, you still go to work, you still pay your bills, but deep inside, a part of you has given up on ever being wealthy. You have accepted financial mediocrity as your ceiling. If this pattern sounds familiar, if you have ever felt like no matter what you try, nothing changes, hit like and subscribe to reprogram more of these invisible blocks. The next one might be the exact pattern keeping you stuck, because learned helplessness is only the beginning. There is an even more insidious force at work. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. When you think about why you are not wealthy, where does your mind go? The government, your boss, the economy, your parents. If your first instinct is to point outward, you have just revealed the second subconscious pattern that keeps broke people broke. It is called external locus of control. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves. Psychologist Julian Rotter discovered that people fall into two categories. Those with an internal locus of control believe they shape their outcomes. Those with an external locus believe outside forces control their fate, and study after study confirms the same pattern. Wealthy individuals overwhelmingly operate from an internal locus. Internal control equals wealth. Broke individuals overwhelmingly operate from an external one, but here is what nobody tells you. The external locus of control is not laziness. It is a survival mechanism. When you grew up powerless, blaming external forces protected your self-esteem. It was easier to say the system is rigged than to face the terrifying possibility that you might have the power to change everything. Blame protects your ego, but it destroys your wealth. And this connects directly to something even more disturbing about the broke mindset. This is going to be hard to hear, but some of you are actually comfortable being broke, not happy, comfortable. There is a massive difference. Your nervous system has a set point, a level of stress and struggle that feels familiar. And familiar feels safe, even when familiar is financial chaos. Neuroscientist Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that your body becomes addicted to the chemicals of stress. Cortisol, adrenaline, the constant low-grade anxiety of living paycheck to paycheck, your cells have adapted to this cocktail. They crave it. Your body is literally addicted to the chemistry of being broke. This is why lottery winners go bankrupt. This is why people who receive windfalls sabotage them. Their nervous system cannot tolerate the unfamiliar state of financial peace. So it creates drama, makes impulsive purchases, picks fights, anything to return to the familiar chaos. Think about your own life. When things start going well financially, do you feel anxious? Do you suddenly find reasons to spend? Do unexpected problems magically appear? Your subconscious is not trying to keep you poor. It is trying to keep you familiar. That is not bad luck. That is your subconscious dragging you back to baseline. And this baseline connects to perhaps the most destructive pattern of all. Here is the question that will change everything. Who are you without the struggle? Take a moment, really think about it. If you removed all your financial problems tomorrow, who would you be? If you cannot answer that question clearly, you have just discovered why you are still broke. Identity. Your subconscious mind will always act in alignment with who it believes you are. Not who you want to be, not who you could be, who it believes you are right now. And for most broke people, struggle has become their identity. They are the hard worker who never catches a break, the one who always has bad timing, the person from the wrong side of town. Struggle becomes identity. Psychologist Dr. Maxwell Maltz wrote about this in his groundbreaking book, Psycho-Cybernetics. He discovered that people have an internal self-image, and they will unconsciously sabotage anything that contradicts it. A human being always acts and feels and performs in accordance with what he imagines to be true about himself. If your self-image says I am someone who struggles with money, your subconscious will make sure that remains true. It will filter out opportunities, create blind spots, and generate behaviors that confirm the identity. You cannot outperform your own self-image. But identity is not the only invisible wall. There is a social dimension to poverty that almost nobody discusses. Have you ever watched crabs in a bucket? When one tries to climb out, the others pull it back down, not out of malice, out of instinct. And this exact same dynamic plays out in every broke community, every struggling family, every circle of friends living paycheck to paycheck. The moment you start changing your financial habits, the people around you will resist. They will mock your ambitions. They will call you greedy. They will say you have changed, and they will not mean it as a compliment. Change, they say accusingly. This is not cruelty. This is tribal survival programming. When one member of the group starts to differentiate, it threatens the group identity. And your subconscious knows this. It knows that standing out means potential rejection, isolation, loss of belonging. As the philosopher Nietzsche observed, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. So your subconscious makes a calculation. It decides that staying broke and belonging is safer than getting rich and being alone. You unconsciously dim your ambitions, lower your standards, and match the financial frequency of your environment. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But the social programming is only one layer. Beneath it lies something even more primal. Let me expose something you have probably never admitted to yourself. You are afraid of being rich, not afraid of money itself. Afraid of what people will think of you when you have it. The fear of wealth is more powerful than the desire for it. Deep in your subconscious, you carry beliefs like rich people are selfish, money changes people for the worse, if I get rich my friends will think I am showing off. And these beliefs create a powerful invisible ceiling. Every time you approach a financial breakthrough, this fear activates. Your palms sweat, your stomach tightens, not because something bad is happening, but because something good is about to happen, and your subconscious has labeled good as dangerous. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Researcher Dr. Brad Klontz calls these money scripts, unconscious beliefs about wealth that operate below awareness and drive financial behavior. 1. Money is the root of all evil. 2. Rich people are dishonest. 3. I do not deserve wealth. 4. More money means more problems. If any of these phrases triggered a reaction in you, that reaction is the pattern. That discomfort is your subconscious saying, do not go there. And this fear feeds directly into the next pattern. In 2013, researchers Sendhil Mullainathan and Eldar Shafir published a study that should have changed everything. They discovered that financial scarcity literally lowers your IQ, not figuratively. Literally. 13 IQ points. That is the cognitive toll of worrying about money. It is the equivalent of losing a full night of sleep or being chronically intoxicated. Poverty shrinks your brain. When you are operating from scarcity, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning, decision-making, and impulse control, goes offline. Your amygdala, the fear center, takes over. And the amygdala only knows two modes, fight or flight. It does not know how to invest. It does not know how to think long-term. It does not know how to see opportunity. Scarcity does not just empty your wallet, it empties your mind. This creates a devastating feedback loop. You are broke, so you cannot think clearly. You cannot think clearly, so you make poor financial decisions. Poor financial decisions keep you broke, and the cycle regenerates itself endlessly. As Einstein wisely noted, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. But understanding the trap is only half the battle. What matters now is how to escape it. Now that you see the prison, let me show you the key. The first step is not making more money. The first step is interrupting the pattern, and it starts with something deceptively simple: awareness. You cannot change a pattern you refuse to see. Every time you catch yourself saying, I cannot afford that, stop. Replace it with, how can I afford that? This is not positive thinking nonsense. This is a neurological redirect. You are literally forcing your brain from the amygdala back to the prefrontal cortex, from fear mode to problem-solving mode, fear to solution mode. Second, you must perform an identity audit. Write down every belief you hold about money, every single one. Where did it come from? Is it yours or is it inherited? If your mother believed money is hard to earn and you believe money is hard to earn, that is not a coincidence. That is programming. The beliefs you inherited are not facts, they are hand-me-downs. Third, change your environment. Remember the crab bucket. You need proximity to people who think differently about wealth. Books, podcasts, mentors, communities, not to copy them, but to expose your nervous system to a different financial frequency. As psychiatrist Carl Jung taught us, the answer lies within, but you have to be willing to look. Here is the truth that ties everything together. Broke is not a bank balance. It is a mental pattern. Mental pattern, not balance. The same subconscious programs that create poverty, learned helplessness, external locus of control, comfort with struggle, fear of judgment, they do not just keep you broke. They regenerate themselves by making you repeat the exact behaviors that keep you stuck. It is an invisible prison, but now you can see the bars, and that changes everything. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Tonight, before you sleep, I want you to do one thing. Write down the number in your bank account. Then write down the number you believe you deserve. If there is a gap between those two numbers, that gap is not about money. That gap is the distance between your current programming and your potential. The gap between where you are and where you could be is just a program. Every self-made millionaire once had the same broke patterns you have right now. The only difference is they saw the code and chose to rewrite it. If you made it this far, comment reprogrammed if you are ready to delete your poverty code and install something new. Reprogram. Your mind is either programmed for wealth or poverty. Now you know how to reprogram it.